ladies and gents, blow out the vents. It is the Justin Robert Young Show. My name is Justin Robert Young. Hello. Welcome, dear friends. Man, I love everybody who watches live. I am a huge fan of anybody who is supporting this show in the medium in which I would say it probably was intended to be presented as a live stream. It's where I really got my start, is in live streaming. But I will say this, that sometimes that live stream audience can be a real tricky biscuit. And I was very nervous here today because I want to make sure that we are on time with the show, because we are on Night Attack here on Twitch.tv, going to be on the front page. This is a big honor. We are very excited to be working with Twitch on this, and we want to do a great job. But part of that means, for what is a large block of programming for the Diamond Club, our community, that's this show in the mid-afternoon to evening on the East Coast, and then Night Attack as a late-night show, that we want to keep things on time. We want to make sure that everybody's on time. So I go back and forth with the chat, and I'm like, we're going to be on time. We're going to be on time. We're not going to start 5 minutes after. We're not going to start 3 minutes after. We're going to start right on time. We are going to hit the post. So everyone's telling me 5 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go. I am sitting crouched, getting ready to jump out from behind the stage area, and I am going to be front and center in those hot lights so I can shuck and jive for you, both live and recorded. And literally, as soon as I hit the the possum posse here, all I see in the chat room is streams down. It's just streams down. And I'm like, oh, you dirty sons of bitches. All right. So, a lot to talk about. We got some fun thoughts here. We got some personal stuff. And then we got some funny stories. So I'm going to leave it up to the live audience here. What do you guys want? Funny stories or personal thoughts? We have personal thoughts or funny stories. Last week, too personal thought centric for me. I got a lot of personal thoughts. I was just going from personal thought to personal thought. Every once in a while, it's okay for us to have that kind of episode. Last week, I thought too much. So either we can do a little truncated version up top, or we got the funny stories. Seems like everybody wants the funny stories, and that's what I'm going to go with. So here's my question for you. Hey, riddle me this, hot shot. You meet somebody on the street, stranger, and all of a sudden you want to have sex with them. You want to have sex with them, and I'll let you know they want to have sex with you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're strangers, yeah. You're gonna have sex together. Yeah. Question is, how do you do it for the least financial and personal loss? Okay? All right? That you're not going to spend that much money. You're not going to go to jail. Go ahead, throw in the chat room. Throw it live. On the count of three, everybody say it out loud. Where you think it's going to be. 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna make the caveat here. This has to be a public place. Public place. Place where everybody, because again, this is a fiery attraction between you and this stranger who also wants to have sex with you. This needs to go down immediately. We got a lot of suggestions here. Parking lot, bar, a bus, a phone booth. I don't know if there are phone booths again. The Publix deli, where you can also get a free cookie. Where they only give cookies to kids. That took a weird turn. Moving on. No. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you're all wrong. You are all wrong. Because there were two people who boldly went where very few people dare to go to have sex with each other. And boy, did they find a loophole here. This is something that I was blown away by. I will go ahead and read for you the headline. Airline sex case lands in FBI's lap. Couple likely to avoid charges. Now I need to read this here for you so you guys understand what the hot hell we're talking about. Whatever happens in the air stays in the air. Starts this lead. Jesus. Come on, guys. The Vegas pun? Really? Teresa Baldus of the Detroit Free Press? Come on. I know you're on deadline, but geez, come on. All right. That's the likely outcome of an airplane sex case unfolding in Detroit. So again, this is in the Detroit. Well, I don't know. Did they land in Detroit or did this begin in Detroit? I guess we'll find out here. Let's go ahead and get into it. Where the FBI has ticketed a man and woman over the weekend after they were caught in a sex act while in their seats aboard a Delta flight. According to sources familiar with the case, the couple, who are reportedly strangers before the flight, are not expected to be criminally charged for their behavior, but rather will only pay fines up to $800 apiece, maybe more. Now, according to WDIV-TV, the 48-year-old woman was performing oral sex on the 28-year-old man, leading to complaints from nearby passengers. So, all right, this is not cheap necessarily. But I don't quite know if they have had this kind of service on airplanes in years, right? You know, back in the day, in the Don Draper era, right? It was coffee, tea, or me. You know, now you gotta pay an extra $5 if you fart too loud. I don't know if it's first class. It doesn't mention in here if they were in first class or in coach. Because by the way, if they're in coach, this is that is a woman who doesn't give a fuck. Oh my God. Even if it's in first class where it's only 2 seats a row normally, that's still bold. That's still bold, right? All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and read the rest of this. As of late Tuesday, the U.S. Attorney's Office said it had received no word from the FBI about seeking possible charges. So here's where these guys are actually brilliant. All right. According to the Detroit Metro Airport spokesperson, Erica Donerson, the 2 passengers at issue were taken into custody at the airport terminal when the plane landed on Sunday. It was coming from Los Angeles. Of course it was. Of course it was coming from Los Angeles. Come on. This is never a story where it's like a 48-year-old woman was blowing a 28-year-old guy from Bangor, Maine, right? It's going to be from New York or L.A. that they're landing in Detroit. By the way, I wonder if they were. If that was a connection. I mean, obviously it was a connection, but they were connecting. Moving on. Airport police who had been alerted about the incident by Delta crew were waiting and transported the couple to the airport safety building. There, Donerson said, the FBI took over. The FBI issued the citation, so they're handling the case, said Donerson, noting that she didn't know the exact nature of the citation. All I know is that the FBI responded and took it from there. So we have a police report, so I'm assuming something happened. Detroit's former FBI chief, Andy Arenas, said that this is a first for him. I have never seen anything like this, Arenas said. It's criminal stupidity, felony stupidity. Now, I don't know whether or not he's saying I don't know whether or not he's saying, oh, it's a felony and they're stupid, or if he's saying this is a felony case of stupidity. Although, by the way, Logan WTF in the chat, the homie Logan from the Daily Dot says it was not a misconnection, that's for sure. No, although it would be amazing if it were a misconnection on Craigslist. You were the 48-year-old woman blowing me in Coach. I am the 28-year-old man who got blown by you in Coach. We both went to the FBI and then were ushered off to different connecting flights. Please respond. Greatest misconnection of all time. Arena noted that while he ran the Detroit FBI office, he did see cases where airline passengers were criminally charged for misbehaving on an airplane. So here's the funny part about this. If she had Estes D while they were on the runway in LA, then they would be charged with California law. If she waited until they had landed in Detroit and Estes D in front of a bunch of strangers, they would be under Michigan law. But because she was S-ing that D in the friendly skies, making the skies ever more friendly to this 28-year-old gentleman, it is now a federal case because they are crossing state lines at such a rapid rate. Although it would have been amazing if they would have pinpointed exactly when she popped himself into her mouth and then been like, turns out we got to try this one in Nevada. She was pretty quick on it. Happened in the first 30 minutes. How amazing would that be if they had to figure out exactly what state this was happening in? So apparently this is something that happens very, very rarely. Delta Airlines declined to comment. FBI spokesman Tim Wiley said the Bureau can't comment on open or ongoing investigations. Sounds like that was happening for that 48-year-old woman. But he did say the Bureau investigates crimes aboard airplanes once the boarding door closes, regardless of severity. Also, the fact that they waited until they landed makes me wonder whether or not that went to completion, right? Whether or not they were flying on JetBlue, as M-Beam suggested. Linux Gamecast says, in all fairness, the Wi-Fi is rubbish, so you got to keep occupied. Oh, my God. I was so blown away by this, and I guess so was that guy. All right, I guess we're just going to keep making that joke until we move on to a different story. Here's the next story. Not as good, but this is something that I love here for the holidays. This is a story by CNBC. It is, you always like to see the youths of America taking advantage of a system, man. You know, all this stuff is buy for one, sell for two at the end of the day. So here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. 28-year-old's company making millions from buying from Walmart and selling to Amazon. This is this dude's scam. It's brilliant. Seems too easy to be true that you can make millions by raiding the clearance aisle at your local Walmart or Target and then selling the haul on Amazon, but that's exactly what 28-year-old Ryan Grant is doing. Only 4 years after quitting his accounting job in Minneapolis to flip purchases full-time, his business is making well into six figures in profits per year. Pretty early on, I realized that I wasn't in the career path that I wanted to be on. That experience really had me looking for other options, and I started to explore ways that I could basically leave that job and have my own schedule and be on my own time. To do that, Grant turned to the side hustle that he had used to make ends meet in college. As a student at Winona State University, he organized textbook buyback events on campus twice a year. He listed the books on Amazon and shipped them out to customers around the country for profit of up to $10,000 a year. Process worked simply enough. He used the Amazon Seller app. He could see exactly how much he expected to profit from each book and in what time frame. But the hours spent processing and packaging each order himself proved a bit much. Going through the process for one semester was enough to know that I didn't want to do it again. From there forward, I did fulfillment by Amazon the rest of the way. Using Amazon's fulfillment services means he could still ship all the books in bulk using preferred UPS rates to Amazon's warehouse, where, for a fee, the online retailer handled processing and shipping out for each individual order and made his side hustle more manageable. This is brill. I mean, basically, he's doing. I got a couple friends that do this for like yard sales, where they just go to yard sales and then flip it on eBay and Amazon and stuff like that. This is, I mean, again, this is the world we're living in. If you want to make money, there is money to be made. You got to know the tools, and that's where things can get unbalanced, right? But, like, this is here. You just got to figure out the angle, and it is done. You know, I mean, again, these are pawn shops. Really, the only thing that's different here is that now you are using the largest retail outlet in the world as a storefront for random shit that you find. And also, they are very willing to show you exactly how much money you're going to make. So, go forth, friends. As we get into this very, very stressful holiday season, where all anybody's going to want to talk about is how much money they're spending on travel, how much money they're spending on gifts, all this other stuff. Just remember, this motherfucker is out here making $1 million a year going to Walmart and selling to Amazon. So great. So great. And I'll bet you this is the great season, too, because everyone's discounted it, to a tremendous extent. In fact, all you have to do is just rip off everybody who's selling stuff for cheap. Wait until after January, sell it then. Super, super, super brilliant. All right. Let's go ahead and real quick plug again the live shows. If you are in Philadelphia, do me a favor, man. All right. So by the way, before we even do the shout outs to the live shows, biggest possible shout out to my strategic advisor. No, senior advisor, senior strategist. I always forget. It's not strategic advisor, senior strategist, chief strategist. I forget. She's the person that is making all of this stuff happen for me. Tamar, she had her second baby boy last week. Here, let me tell you something. I don't know if I'm getting. Let me just say, Tamar is the toughest person that I have met. She is already a great mom. She's going to be a great mom to yet another bouncing baby boy. Now that he is in the world. No name yet, but we are very, very, very happy here at in the Diamond Club with the JuRY listenership. Very excited that the pregnancy is over. And by the way, I meet with her once a week on Wednesdays. And the day before she had the kid, we did not skip a meeting. We just did it on the phone. And tomorrow, because I record this on Tuesdays, we're not going to miss a meeting. I'm literally going to go to her house. She is the best. I love her. She's so awesome. So big congratulations to Tamar having the kid. Mazel tov. Normally I say mazel tov is just a thing because people think I'm Jewish, but she's actually Jewish. So mazel tov. Okay. Let's get into the plugs. If you're going to be in Philly, November 17th, PAX Unplugged, very reasonable single-day tickets on Friday, 3 p.m. You get to see How to Lose $40,000 on Kickstarter. The tale of how me and my co-creator, John Teasdale, bungled it. We screwed up in a major way on a Kickstarter that raised $142,000. We wound up losing $40,000 conservatively, and how we fought our way back. This will be broadcast on Twitch, so make sure you check it out on twitch.tv as well. I'll try to host it on my channel, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. Otherwise, you'll be able to find it on the PAX channel. Please go ahead. If you're going to be in Philly, come watch it in person. If not, then watch it on Twitch. I'm very, very proud of the talk, or at least I will be as soon as we actually write it. November 18th, 7 p.m., Shot Tower Coffee. So the first one's a Friday. This is a Saturday. Shot Tower Coffee, 542 Christian Street, 7 p.m. I'm doing a live politics. I got to write that too. This is going to be the oral history of the Monica Lewinsky scandal. I'm going to walk through my personal experiences with it, when I first realized what it was, how it shaped me as a man. It's going to be super fun. I hope to have a special guest there, but Odocta hasn't gotten back to me. He better get back to me. I really wanted to be a part of it. But Shot Tower Coffee, 7 p.m., 542 Christian Street. That is November 18th, Saturday in Philly. I promised tomorrow that I wouldn't make this me being like, oh, I'm so nervous, please come. Although that's really what I want to say. But let me just also say this. If we get a good crowd here, more places. We will come to different places throughout the world if we get a good crowd at this, and I can establish for myself that this is not a tremendous waste of time to come out and visit you guys. So let's go ahead and check that out. 7 p.m., Shot Tower Coffee, 542 Christian Street, November 18th. That is a Saturday in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And then we go out and get drinks. Bring your coins. The coins that you get as part of our mega pack on stickers or DIAF that say that I buy you a drink, bring them out. It's hard to yell when the drink I buy you's in your mouth. Okay. Let's move on. Question for the class. Kevin Spacey. Careers ruined. Accusation after accusation. This man is a monster. Sexual misconduct. Grabbing people that are young, too young. Illegal. This man is a menace. He has seen his entire career come crumbling down. Now, a lot of times what happens in these situations is we say to ourselves, how am I ever going to process my fandom for that person's art? It's the art, not the artist. Woody Allen, Roman Polanski. The list goes on and on and on and on. But all of the famous movies that Kevin Spacey has been in, television shows that Kevin Spacey's been in, isn't he kind of always a weird, socially maladjusted weirdo who murders or has deviant, if not criminal, sexual conduct? Like, think about it. 7, murderer. Literally, the entire movie is about how much of a murderer he is. He is committing atrocities. Absolutely. Disgusting, awful, violent, lyrically brutal murders. Look at The Usual Suspects. Criminal mastermind. This man is the gangster of all gangsters. He walks into, spoiler alert, walks into a police department, lies his ass off, and then walks out, barely avoiding capture because he is a criminal, sociopathic mastermind. Even when he's supposed to be the good guy. When he's supposed to be the good guy. In American Beauty, he's still lusting after a young girl. And he winds up dying. That's a spoiler alert that happens in the first, 5 minutes of the story. House of Cards. Do we even got to start with House of Cards? So, I guess here's my question. Do we process his body of work different because he has always played awful, reprehensible people? Yeah, look at Baby Driver. Baby Driver's, he's the bad guy. He's forcing this kid into servitude. Because I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh man, this is normally just the thought. It's gonna be really weird to listen to that album after we find out about the artist. It's gonna be weird to watch Chinatown or I guess not. Yeah, Chinatown. It's gonna be weird to a new Woody Allen movie apparently is coming out where people are lusting after an underage girl. It's like, come on. But with Kevin Spacey, it's like, oh. Okay. I guess he's just actually the asshole that everybody is trying to avoid, right? He's just, I guess we don't know if he actually murdered somebody. Now, you're right. There are some holes in this. K-Pax. That Bobby Darin movie that he did where he insisted on singing all the Bobby Darin songs. Although even then, kind of feel like he was the villain even in that Bobby Darin movie, right? Because who else is like, yay, Kevin Spacey, you're doing a vanity project where you sing Bobby Darin songs. Did anybody do that? Email me, JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. Let me know if anybody was saying, yay, you get to sing Bobby Darin songs to Kevin Spacey. Because I don't even know is there even a community of oh, yeah. Octogenarian, people who actually were alive. People who could have blown Bobby Darin if they were both on a plane from Los Angeles to Detroit. Or you could go the other way. You could just wait to see, all right, well, apparently he's been a sexual deviant and a creep. So let's just assume that he did everything else. Let's just assume that he's also the murderer that Frank Underwood is. Let's just assume that he is also the fairy tale that gangsters tell their kids. Don't rat on your pop. Kaiser Soze will come to get you. Here's this other thing. All right. I got to level with you about this one. This one, actually, I don't even know. Kind of half got under my skin, and half of it was I just didn't know how to react to it. So, I do another show with Scott Johnson called Unfriend Me. I love it. It's gotten a great response so far, probably the biggest initial response that I've ever gotten to a podcast in my young career. And essentially the idea is that Scott and I are finding arguments that you have on Facebook with your friends and family, and we're going to dissect them. It's one half a history show, one half a dialogue between Scott and I, and one part call-in show. We have a live call-in number where people are able to call in and bring their own expertise. So what we do at the end of every episode is offer a few options for people to vote on. And people vote on what they want us to discuss, and then we discuss it the next week. So this week's are, and I'm going to bring up the live poll right here, anti-vaxxers or pickup artists. And with 222 votes very early in the process, it's a landslide for 77% anti-vaxxers. Now, that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is the fact that the response that I have gotten on Twitter has been vitriolic. People are angry. Mostly because we've included anti-vaccination people on there. And they're like, this is stupid. This is stupid, and but they don't say you're stupid. I read it as you're stupid. This is stupid. What a dumb set of topics. Nobody takes anti-vaccination seriously. It is so thoroughly debunked. There is no two sides of the anti-vaccination issue. Now, here's what I find funny about that. That's another one that we get. West 5648 should have thrown in flat earthers. Now, we're a relatively new show, so I don't expect for everybody to totally grok the point of the show at this point, right? But the idea of the show is that we are talking about controversies. We are not a science journal. We are not here to provide learned consensus so one might better live their lives. No, we are here to give a fuller picture on something that people argue about. And sometimes there is very passionate argument on one side or the other, like there is with the gun control episode that we did. Sometimes it's like that with like safe spaces, right? But for whatever reason, even people who are super passionate about gun control, we're not like, why are you even talking about it? They were like, oh, I can't wait to express my opinion. I can't wait to let everybody know my hashtag facts. But it wasn't, this is dumb, why'd you even put it up there? So let me just run through my idea on anti-vax. It's not a surprise. It's not like Scott and I. And now, on Unfriend Me, we will find out what Scott and Justin really think about vaccinations. This isn't drum roll, please. I think that vaccinations are necessary. Specifically for kids. The idea that you are, there's like mercury poisoning seems to be, at least to me, fairly thoroughly debunked. And as I do the research for the show, I'm going to find research that I find, and I will present it during the program. But there's no doubt that this is a firefight, right? There's no doubt that people are arguing about this. And I want to hear from the parents who are live, this from anecdotally, what I've heard from my friends who are parents, is that the firefights on this issue are the most venomous firefights on parent Facebook. I want to hear from the mommy blog, the mommy Facebook groups. Like, that's who I want to hear. I know that we have a lot of women listen to this show. I know we have a lot of women who listen to this show that have kids. I know a portion of those women are on parenting Facebook groups. And I will guarantee you that whenever anybody brings up vaccinations, that there is an immediate 75 thread argument. That's what I've heard. Now, I'm not saying it's not a stupid issue. I'm saying that it's an issue that people are arguing about. So now here we go. Immediately, all I had to do was scratch the surface. Now everybody's like, yeah, my ex-wife's an anti-vaxxer. Yeah, my wife's an anti-vaxxer, or you know, that they're friends with people. I mean, this is what I'm saying. So sure, we're gonna talk about all the research. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the discredited doctor that's behind it all. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Jenny McCarthy and whether or not she has singled out if she is an anti-vaxxer for life or not. But I think, you want to know what? I'm gonna go this way. Anybody who thinks that we should stop talking or not talk about anti-vaxxing and doesn't think that we should bring up a devil's argument position for anti-vaxxing is anti-science. Yeah, I said it. I think you're anti-science because I think that there is nothing wrong. There ain't nothing wrong by having these conversations over and over and over. And if we retreat to a position of smug superiority, of why are you even talking about it? That's stupid. You're stupid. Then we have lost the argument. Yes, we should always talk about it. Yes, we should always repeat these arguments. Yes, we should make as passionately as we can devil's advocate position. I almost called it the devil's lawyer. Yes, we should make Beelzebub's lawyer position from the opposite side. Because if we don't, then what are we? If we're not going to put a good face on the house of I like to read some shit, then for people who are just joining the conversation, who maybe have lived a life for which they have not thought once about anti-vaccinations, and now all of a sudden they have a kid, and now all of a sudden they're on those mommy groups on Facebook, and there's a 50-50 din of people screaming and yelling at each other about whether or not you're killing your child or you're killing my child. Then, you know, what does us looking them in the face and saying, why are you even thinking about it? You're stupid. You're stupid. To be honest, it's why I left the skeptic community. I mean, I was a part of the skeptic community for the majority of my adolescence. I was with the James Randi Educational Foundation. I went to one of the first amazing meetings out there in Las Vegas. It's the moment where I got to sit at a table with Christopher Hitchens, one of my favorites. But you want to know why I stopped doing the skeptic community stuff? Because everybody was just so goddamn sure. I'm like, we're supposed to be skeptics, right? We're supposed to be the people that nerd out on the investigation. That's our pleasure, is digging into this issue. I didn't know that this was the Conclusion Society. I didn't know that this was, we nailed it. We did it, Reddit. I didn't know that was the point of it. That we're all getting together to say, like, yay, science. And if you hate science, and screw off. Nah, man. I love the James Randi Educational Foundation because they had $1 million challenge. Have $1 million challenge where they will give you $1 million if you can prove under scientific testing mutually agreed upon between the organization and the claimant that you have psychic, spiritual, or supernatural powers. And I love that. You want to know why? Because it forces you to sit down with somebody who genuinely believes something and says, all right, well, then let's agree on a test that can prove it from both sides, and I'll give you $1 million. James Randi says that he'll give you $1 million if you believe that you have supernatural powers. I asked my co-host, Barbara Walters, if she had a divining rod. I don't know, man. It really got in my stuff today. It really got in my stuff. Everyone's like, stupid, stupid, stupid. Why don't you put whether Finland's a country? Why don't you put if it's a flat earther? Like, come on. Number one, I would put flat earth. I'd put is Finland really a country on there if I saw people bitching about it on Facebook. If I saw people bitching about it in my timeline. I knew we had a spicy meatball with anti-vax, though. You want to know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll lean. Maybe I'll lean like, I don't know, man. Maybe this mercury thing's for real. Just kidding. I won't. I do generally think that vaccinating your kids is an intensely smart idea, and that there's really not there's not much argument to be made on the other side. And yes, and I don't blame women and mothers who are very worried about it. Who are worried about poisoning their newborn kids. Like, since when is that a weird thing to do? Like, even if a mother of a newborn kid is like freaked out, why can't we always give them a benefit of the doubt? It seems like a really tough time, right? Or at least not tough, a stressful time, right? Probably tough too. I mean, it seems tough to me. I don't have any kids, but like, you know, Brett used to be able to go to movies during the middle of the day, and now we can't. That seems really tough. You know, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's why I don't have no kids. Because I want to go see Thor at 4 o'clock. And before I go see Thor, I want to have 3 drinks in the middle of the day. Turns out you can't do that with newborn kids. That's not a thing that you can do. All right. Let's go ahead and get into your emails. You can email me, JustinRobertYoung at gmail.com. JustinRobertYoung at gmail.com. Here we go. iMorph says he has a PSA here. Dig this. PSA. What's a PSA anyway? Just 3 little letters. Dana Carvey Critics' Choice reference. Reporting dick pics as spam to your carrier. All right, so if you get these, if you get dick pics, hey ladies, if you get dick pics on your phone, unsolicited dick pics on your phone, iMorph suggests that you report it to your carrier as spam. The story. My sister receives dick pics repeatedly from the same guy. Sounds as if he sends dick pics to all the ladies, and my sister should just be happy with being selected to receive his special messages. This must stop. So here's the problem. Getting angry does nothing. Posting about it on Facebook does nothing. Crying alone in your living room does nothing. Asking them to stop doesn't work. So this is what he suggests. All U.S., U.K., and Canadian phone carriers participate in the spam program. If you receive a spam message, forward the entire message to 7726. If your carrier is Vodafone in the UK, forward the entire message to 87726. If your carrier is 3 in the UK, forward the entire message to 37726. I mean, I don't know. I would say your mileage may vary on whether or not you want to fire a warning shot. But I wouldn't mind I know we love reading trend stories on this show. I wouldn't mind if this is the new trend story. It's called canned spam, and it's the newest trend in dick pic arrests. Echo Instinct 2 says, I don't know how I feel about sending my carrier incidental dick pics. I mean, incidental dick pics, who knows, right? If you're like trying to send a picture of your dick to somebody and you fuck up the thing, then like, okay, maybe not incidental. That's friendly fire dicks, right? But if you're getting an unsolicited dick pic, I feel like you should know, right? Yeah, spam equals stupid penis arrest machine. All right. Let's do the creepy one, and then we'll go ahead and find out about how country people bang each other. Anonymous Diamond writes, on top of asking people what the creepiest thing has happened to them, we should also be asking what the sleaziest thing we have done ourselves is. All right, so this comes from my plea to the gentlemen who are listening to the sound of my voice, that if you don't believe that women have creepy shit happen to them, then do yourself a favor and just ask a woman for whom you trust what the creepiest thing that has happened to him is. So Anonymous goes the step further and says, ask yourself the sleaziest thing that you have ever done. He goes on to write, I've done a sleazy thing myself almost 3 years ago. My group of friends were celebrating a housewarming party for me and my 2 new roommates. By late into the night, most people had left. It was me and 2 other couples. Everyone present were people that I considered to be my best friends, my roommates included. We were all hammered. The 2 females present started making out on the couch next to me. Their respective partners were cool with it. A voice in my head reminded me that this was typically one of the fantasies that I had that was happening right in front of me. And if I just sat and watched, I'd regret it later on. Now, let me go ahead and stop this story right here. Because where I assume, I think you guys are taking this, is where I took this. 2 ladies are making out on the couch. This gentleman had the liquor talking to him. He reached out and touched someone. Or he pulled out his crank and, well, yanked it. You might be partially right. But I'm here to tell you, Anonymous Diamond, that I don't believe this is necessarily the sleaziest possible thing. We continue reading. And here is the operative phrase here. The 2 couples moved to a bedroom, and I followed them. They didn't seem to mind me being there. Now, I have not been in a situation that bears a resemblance to this on any side. I have not been one of the couples. I have not been this 5th wheel. However, I might make mention that should a wife-swapping 4-way seem to be erupting, and you walk into the room and they do not tell you to leave immediately, then I believe that there is some wiggle room on anything else that happens past that. So let's go ahead and continue reading. When both girls were topless, I went in. So they walked in. They had tops on. Tops came off while he was there. I went in. To this day, I can't remember whose boob ended up in my mouth, but this is what prompted them to gently ask me to leave and reminded me of the relationship I had just started with somebody else. I retreated to my own room and fell asleep. For a while, the couple who weren't my roommates were uncomfortable visiting us because of me. After a year, we had all managed to reflect on the incident and everyone had forgiven me for it. My friends saw it as mistaken consent. We have all moved on, but it still guilts me to this day. I am here to say that while undoubtedly this is a party foul, that if you are, if you are in the room and other stuff is going down, now here's what I might say. Here is a caveat. If he was the first man in, now we have a problem, right? Because you can't be the first man in. You can wait for one to go in and then come on in. And Nibbled says in the chat, not because of them and not consent, that was a voyeur type opportunity. Surely. And he misread that. But I think he's got a little bit of wiggle room to get that wrong. You know, he's got a little bit. He gets a mulligan. As long as he took no for an answer, I think that, like, you know, stuff happens. Shit happens when you party naked. I don't think he should guilt himself. Oh, you want to know what? Let's make this a plebiscite. Let's make this a plebiscite. Should he forgive himself? Should Anonymous forgive himself? Or should he continue for 7 years more guilt? We are now passing judgment on the JuRY podcast. Should he forgive himself or 7 years more guilt? Email us in justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. I will tally all the votes. So the only thing that you should be sending in is guilt-free or 7 years more guilt. That's it. All right. In the chat room, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. All right. So we got a bunch of emails. Oh, my God. Did we hit it off when I asked Red State America whether or not fishing dates are a thing? I'm here to let all y'all blue state motherfuckers know fishing dates are a thing. Oh, my God. Dude, people are getting their shit on in fishing dates. Matthew writes, let me tell you why fishing and hunting makes for great dates. It's a value add if she's on the fence about going out with you for one of two reasons. One, if she has never gone fishing before, even if it turns out to be a dud, she gets a new experience out of the date. And if the date is hunting, where the thrill of shooting a gun, if she has never had that before. Two, if she's already a hunter or a fisher, where did she get that from? Her dad. Now the invite reminds her of her dad that pampered her and made you feel, and maybe you're a good man like him. Now, I don't know, Matthew. There's a lot of dads out here that are not so good. So maybe those are the ladies that are turning down the fishing and hunting dates. Good point though. Vlad writes in, country mouse talking to a city mouse. I take my girlfriend fishing quite regularly. I also take her to my archery tournaments, and she shoots for fun as well. So yes, outdoor crap is cute for dates and shit. Perhaps it is just an acquired taste. My girlfriend is from the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Pennsylvania, and I live almost in Michigan, just outside of Toledo. So hey, Big Jim, didn't realize that there were more diamond clubbers in the area. Now, for why carp fishing sounds weird to you. In the States, carp is a trash fish. I shoot them with my bow during the spawn in the spring for fun and for fertilizer for my garden. We pile them up like split wood. Other fish, like bass and trout, are far more highly sought after because they are rare and fight better. They're just a bit harder to catch. That being said, I've caught just about every fish there is in the Midwest, and I will say that carp are my favorite fish. Most fish do the classic tugging and running when they are hooked. Carp just run and run and run and run. I like it to trying to tie your line to a wrangler and telling your buddy to gun it. I had to stop at 30-pound carp from pulling my girlfriend into the water one time. It's pretty intense. In Europe, the carp is highly regarded because it isn't as common and how difficult it is to catch and land. It's like night and day. There are blogs dedicated to the conservation and responsible harvest of carp in Europe. Anyway, just wanted to chime in and give my 2 hay pennies, Country Mouse signing off. So the carp fishing thing was from that stupid catfishing gone awry. This is getting very aquatic. And the hunting and fishing thing there. Okay, so Jeremy writes, yes, an ex of mine went on quite a few fishing dates. We caught some fish, drank some beer. I got a Hummer here and there, drank some more beer. It's a cheap and easy date and a great way to have it when you have nothing better to do than talk to somebody or do other things. Insert creepy wink. Wink. Also, as a lifelong resident of Michigan, I am an expert on the Michigan left, and I don't think that they are difficult at all. All right, so here we go. So your homework for next week is whether or not we are forgiving Anonymous. Are we forgiving Anonymous? Is it 7 years more guilt, or is he absolved of his guilt by way of our plebiscite? And also, I am taking any one of these emails. Is there something that you feel guilty about? We will vote on it on this show, and we will either give you 7 years more guilt, or we will give you absolution. That happens on this show. So send in your situations, JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. Again, JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. Put JuRY in the subject line just so I know what the hot ham water's going on. All right. That about wraps it up. If you want to support this show, you can do so by going over to stickers or DIAF.com. That is where you can get Diamond Club stickers. New stuff coming. But that means that you're going to want to get some of the stuff that might be rotating out. So if you want a sticker pack or you want a JuRY will buy you a drink token before the Philadelphia show, you better go ahead and get it now. Stickers or DIAF.com. Again, stickers or DIAF.com. Folks, if you want Twitter and Instagram, Snapchat as well, it is Justin R. Young. You can join the conversation at our Discord, bit.ly/JuRY Discord. Again, that is bit.ly/JuRY Discord. Ladies and gentlemen, if you find yourself getting blown on a plane, if you find yourself robbing Walmart to pay Amazon, if you find yourself watching K-Pax, if you find yourself coming on out to my live show, Philadelphia, 7 p.m., Shot Tower Coffee, 542 Christian Street, free with a $10 suggested donation. If you find yourself yelling at me on Twitter about my unfriend me topics, then please remember that I am reaching out to you saying, please don't die.
Do you like how your hair gets cut? Do you like when your friends fuck up? Don't you think you have had enough?
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.